Greetings, my friend. Thank you for being here today on this thank you yoga break. Thank you for being with me. My name is Aaron Suzurik. Among other things, I am a 200-hour yoga teacher. I teach at the Niles Gerard area yoga room located in the great state of Ohio, the great, very cold state of Ohio. Especially right now, I believe it may be under 0 degrees Celsius. So, today I wish to bring you a practice that will hopefully be of benefit to you on a cold day. Practice of Sirsasana and some arm variations that we have followed to this point from the previous two episodes, which was Thank You Yoga for Sirsasana. Thank You Yoga for Sirsasana leg variations. So this one is Thank You Yoga for Sirsasana arm variations. And the arm variations that I would like to bring to you today are Sirsasana 2, 3, Mukta, Hasta Sirsasana, and Badha Hasta Sirsasana. Okay, not necessarily in that order. But before we begin the practice, I wish to give a little bit of information on Sirsasana in general that I believe is always beneficial to go through before the practice. Firstly, safety, safety, safety first. If you are practicing Sirsasana freestanding from a wall, do your best to make sure that you have space around you so you won't fall on any object that might injure your body. I have found out that this is the number one cause of injury in Sirsasana, and I can imagine how it might happen if you were to fall on a irregular object and it not be in a very graceful manner. I have toppled over myself um, from the backside forward, and it does feel very scary, especially the first couple of times. I have gotten used to it, but still, safety, 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 always a good practice. Kindness to ourselves translates to kindness to everyone else we encounter, and safety is one of the best kindnesses that we can bring, I believe. So, anyways, having some space, especially before and behind us, as we practice Sirsasana, can help guarantee that we won't fall on any foreign objects about a body's length of space. To each side, I have not experienced the tendency to tip left or right, but that is something you want to pay attention to when you do attempt to practice Sirsasana, where you are liable to fall. Especially when you first begin, you might want to just have that body length of space all the way around. Okay? And I also would like to uh, tell you about some cautions for different conditions that you might have experienced in your life or are experiencing that make the practice of Sirsasana not the best idea for you. And these cautions include suffering from back injury or headache or heart condition, high blood pressure, menstruation, neck injury, low blood pressure. Now, you may practice Sirsasana with low blood pressure, but Sirsasana should not be the first position that you practice. You should warm up to Sirsasana and get your blood pumping a little bit. And then pregnancy as well. It is not good to practice Sirsasana if you're not an experienced practitioner of Sirsasana. So don't practice Sirsasana at all if you are pregnant and you have not learned yet. If you have learned, you may practice late into the pregnancy. And then always keep in mind to respect the practice and respect yourself. Sirsasana is considered an intermediate to advanced pose, and there is a reason for that. Okay? And I also would like to include some of the reasons why I practice Sirsasana. It warms the body, it warms the mind, it helps get me ready for the day, it helps me be clean, clear and present and aware. It helps build strength in the mind and the body, and both the discipline, the will of balancing, of adjusting from the micro variations of body weight to try to get it so that it is lined up with the top of the head and gravity and all other forces. I do really like the arm variations, especially because it helps join me to that feeling of strength and connecting with the world around as well as within myself. It helps me to be a little more courageous, a little more adventurous. So I do like that, especially for the arm variations. And it helps me to alter my perspective if ever I notice that I'm having a narrow perspective on life. Um, Particular difficulties maybe with a problem. When I was in art school, they would always tell me to turn the picture upside down so you see through new eyes what you are doing. And it is much like that when you turn your entire body upside down and you look out through eyes that are attached to a body that is balancing on its head. Very interesting, and it will help you to gain a new perspective on reality, how to process things. And I would also like to include the benefits according to Sri BKS Iyengar. He is a yoga guru in the Hatha yoga discipline, which focuses on the physical movements or postures known as asana. And I learned all of my physical postures first from his book, or interpretation, I should say, of the Yoga Pradipika, or Light on Yoga, which is an act of devotion that yoga devotees will will journey through. Sometimes they'll be asked to translate this this great book known as the Yoga Pradipika, and these are from his interpretation of the Yoga Pradipika. So, firstly, let's see, the regular practice of Sirsasana makes the blood pure flow through to the brain cells in a healthy manner. This rejuvenates them so that thinking power increases and thoughts become clear. This asana is tonic for people whose brains tire quickly. It ensures a proper blood supply to the pituitary and pineal glands in the brain. Our growth, health, and vitality depend on the proper functioning of these two glands. People suffering from loss of sleep, memory, and vitality have recovered by the regular and correct practice of this asana and have become fountains of energy. The lungs gain the power to resist any climate and stand up to any work, which relieves one from colds and coughs, tonsillitis and halitosis, or foul breath and palpitations. It keeps the body warm, which is really good for northeastern Ohio, especially during winter. Coupled with Sarvangasana or shoulder stand movements, it is a boon for people suffering from constipation, and it is always nice to move through both physical and mental blocks, and constipation has been something I've experienced in the past. And according to what we sell at the store that I work at, given the different Tums and acid relief and fiber and et cetera, the amount of that we sell, it must be a really big problem for not just me, but most of America. So, practicing Sirsasana and shoulder stand or Sarvangasana can really help alleviate that problem for you and for maybe someone else if you know. Mention standing on your head to relieve constipation. Sounds odd, but if you think about how the process works, it could help move some of that stuff along. All right. Regular practice of Sirsasana will show a marked improvement of hemoglobin counts in the bloodstream. Hemoglobins are cells which bring oxygen to the vertebrae, so helping keep the back nice and healthy and strong. And back problems from what I experienced from the pain killing drugs that we do sell, as well as other medical aids, is another really big problem that we experience in America and probably the rest of the world too, I am thinking. So regular and precise practice of Sirsasana develops the body, disciplines the mind, and widens the horizons of the spirit. One becomes balanced and self-reliant in pain and pleasure, loss and gain, shame and blame, and defeat and victory. So, again, helping us to stay nice and balanced and harmonious as we learn to do that in a very physical way. Okay, and one that I happen to move over that I always like to say, people suffering from loss of sleep, memory, and vitality have recovered by the regular and correct practice of this asana and have become fountains of energy. And in my lifetime, I've been a little lethargic, so I always like that image, that fountain of energy. I would love to be a fountain of energy. And that is why I keep practicing Sirsasana in order to help bring myself back into that spirit of clarity and presence of mind, presence with those around me, and just more able to be of service and to not just the world, but myself. Present, a clear mind, energy, and strength of character and will. It does wonders to bring us to a better place in life. So this small practice, for me, it really helps. Of course, do it safely. Know where you are in your life, in your journey, and do your best, my friend. That's all we can do, and all anyone can really ask of us. Okay, so let's go ahead and move to the physical practice of Sirsasana. Okay, so first, coming to the mat on all fours, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll bend down so we touch the top of the head to the mat. We'll lift up the bottom. Okay. Straighten the legs. We'll press the palms on the ground. First, we'll practice Sirsasana 2. So we have our palms our fingers facing towards our head, our palms about arms length apart, or about mat's length apart. And then we'll come up on our toes and we'll lift the lower body up, shifting our weight back and then towards the middle, straightening the legs as best we can, and just relaxing into the pose, feeling that balance, that middle spot. And then when we're ready to do so, we'll go ahead and come back down safely and easily and gradually. And if you need to, go ahead and rotate the head, move it in any other way that might alleviate any tension in the neck. And then we'll move on to Sirsasana 3, which is a bit trickier for balance, at least for me. So what we'll do on all fours, positioning our head down, lifting our bottom up like we had before. Actually, for this one, I'm going to scoot a little bit farther on the mat. Okay. Then the palms will come down once again. This time they'll be relatively close to each other, as close as we can manage. Fingers will be pointed away from the face. Okay. And then we'll shift the weight, moving the legs up. Okay. Doing our best to keep the elbows straight up and down. And when ready to do so, letting the lower body come back down, moving the neck side to side, up and down, or wherever else, rotating it around, tipping the head, whatever would feel good for the neck. Okay? And then we'll move on to Baddha Hasta Sirsasana, which is bound arm or hand position in Sirsasana. So we'll move with our head down like before. We'll straighten the legs out. Then we'll bring the arms kind of down so that the elbows are touching, and one forearm's on the bottom, one's on the top, and we're gripping the opposite elbow area. And then we'll bring the lower body up. In a straight line as we can over the top of the head. Okay, and then we'll lower safely and easily. If you need to, remember to move the neck back and forth, side to side, however feels good. And we'll move into the fourth variation, which is Mukta Hasta Sirsasana, straight arm pose in Sirsasana. So we'll touch the head. Okay, we'll come up onto the legs. We'll point the arms before so that the fingertips point away from the face, palms are up, tops of the hands are touching the surface below. We'll shift that weight, raising the legs. We'll hold here as long as we feel comfortable, and then we'll lower when appropriate. All right, very good. Remembering to work out any tension we feel in the neck. Okay. All right, very good. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for being here with me today on this journey through Thank you, yoga, for Sirsasana arm variations. I do hope that it has helped you bring a sense of clarity, strength, focus, and courage into the way you're processing reality at this moment, and will bring that spirit into all other aspects of your day, and so on and so forth. And of course, if this was in the middle of the practice, you may continue with the other asanas that you routinely practice. And if you would like, you can also take a resting pose afterwards. You could maybe take child's pose, so that's extending the arms forward from a seated position, maybe, and then resting the forehead on the top of the ground below, or the surface of the ground below, focusing on the breath and body awareness coming into the space, letting all that energy that you had built up rest and settle and flow as it would, taking an easy breath in and an easy breath out. And also, you may choose to take another more active resting pose by just sitting and enjoying a nice and upright spine, maybe bringing those shoulders a little bit to the sides, rolling to the back slightly, rolling the hips forward, projecting the chest a little bit forward, and just gently resting the head and the neck in this midpoint, nice and upright, nice clear breath in and out. Maybe bringing hands to heart center, bowing your head slightly, thanking your body for carrying you through this practice, thanking the ground for supporting you, and thanking the vital breath for uniting all living beings, all experiences, providing space for you to practice, space for you to live, space for you to be, and moment to moment, bringing you vital life energy with which it would be impossible to carry on moment to moment, day to day, in our adventure of life. I also invite you to say a word that means my inner light honors your inner light. That word would be Namaste. I invite you to say this now. Namaste. Thank you so much, dear soul, for practicing with me here today, for being more present to yourself, more present to reality, bringing something good into the equation of how you live your life in order not to just help yourself, but to help all other living beings, as we all are connected. We are all energetic life forms, energetic beings, and that energy that we foster within us does radiate into the world around us. We cannot help but be affected by this light, this energy. So if you're fostering a healthy, happy energy within yourself through regular good practices, other people, other living beings, other creatures, the environment will surely benefit from this practice. As we are not exclusive, we are all connected, just as the eye is connected to the foot, though through a very distant nature. The eye wouldn't be able to walk through the world with the foot, and the foot wouldn't be able to see where to go without the eye. We are much the same way, benefiting from all others around us with all varied gifts and talents and abilities. So thank you so much, my friend, for being here today. God bless you. Namaste.